Bill, thank you for coming. Thank you for your time. Would you introduce yourself? A lot of people know you, but what would you like to say?
Well, name is Bill Miller. I grew up in Wisconsin. Dad was in the Army, so we lived in the early years of my life in Washington State, Army base, then in Italy, Vicenza. Moved back to Wisconsin in the 60s.
No, I'm just getting stuff out of my way.
Moved back to reservation
I'm
in
going to keep my bag here.
late 60s, 70s. Stayed up there. Went to college at UW La Crosse, got my degree here. Started playing music when I was professionally 13. Played in the polka band with my cousin in Oshkosh, and I just have never turned around. La Crosse area is where I met a lot of great musicians here, still great ones here. Terry's the first. Terry's still with me. Met Terry, Hans Mayer, Mike. Those guys still with me.
Okay, now I know the format.
Moved to Nashville in 1986. Mike recorded 3 flute projects, and we won Grammys on each one. I've been in a lot of movie soundtracks. Just chasing things got old, and I'm old myself. In my 60s.
I'm 71.
I don't even want to chase. I just want to play and make the live performance. The present tense is very important to me, even at this stage. I had a heart failure. I buried 2 of my children the past few years. Went through a divorce before that. A lot of the tragedies you don't see when you're younger, when you're in 30s. But I don't feel lost anymore. I feel really with my guys. They know me so well. You know, we could practice, but I just didn't have time this week. But we don't have to we don't make things up. We just, I don't know how it is, we merge. And they respect me and I respect them. I'm writing songs all the time. I got a new deal with a Sony deal in Nashville. Tony Harrell is producing it. And John Carter Cash is writing songs with me. I got a deal on Universal with my management. It's publishing and the songs. So I'm just immersed with a lot of music and history, and just really just that. I don't know how to say that. Also, it become to the point where my instruments have turned into instruments of peace. Like I've always loved Terry when he plays percussion, drums too, but he's a percussive drummer, and that's the type of drummers I like better. I don't want a rock and roll drummer or a pop drummer.
Yeah.
His rhythm is so, at times, primal with me, and that's what I want. And Mike experiments like he's Pink Floyd on a guitar. So it's all, that's what makes it fun for me. So yeah, I'm just painting cinematic pieces and coming back, basically. In Europe, I played Europe recently. Sold out there in Switzerland. I played Edmonton when the Pope was up there. It was really strange. And also we had a big crowd up there. And so I'm just taking my time healing. I had a heart failure, all kinds of crap happened.
Yeah.
But the music still matters. The music is healing. Music is a good place for me to. I don't escape there. People think it's an escape. It's not, and it's not a hobby. So some people have it as a hobby or the weekend warriors, which is cool. Great hobby to have. I have to make it. It's all I do to make a living. It's all I've ever done. Day one. It's what I work for.
Yeah. I tell people I tune pianos to live, but I live to make music and do poetry.
Yeah, it is. It's a communion more with my creator than ever before, because it's like some people are meant to be making music and others not, you know, and they wonder why, because they're better plumbers than me or they're better doctors than me. I don't like Mike Muchais. He's got medical skills. Both he and I were Golden Glove boxers. Mike has knowledge that goes past my knowledge as far as music, but what he does, and that's why we connect, he's a cinematic man also. We both think we can project our music into our instruments. I think a lot of guys, it takes them, I don't know what it takes, either too much weed or whatever it takes to get them in that zone. I don't need that. I'm just walking drugs. I have a glass of wine once in a while, but it's like Mike and I have a brotherhood. I can't explain. You only meet, to me, I've seen now, I'm 67,
Mm-hmm.
and in my life, you only meet people like him, very rarely. I don't know anybody else like him. Yeah, that's nobody. I might know people like him there in the big time,
Yeah.
The lead guitarist for Pink Floyd, that's who he reminds me of, and some other people too. Just he has that Radiohead mystic, but it's still Mike. And also people need to realize musicians are family, man. I still have children. I'm divorced, but I have kids. Mike has a beautiful wife and kids. We have thought patterns that relate to our families really way up on the ladder, and they have allowed us to run with our music.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a very special woman to do that.
Yes.
And the kids to understand you. So I relate to Mike more than any musician in this whole area of Midwest. And Hans Mayer too. Hans Mayer and Terry been with me for many, many years. Just there comes a time where I don't want to limit myself. I'm not saying anything against any other musicians, but I've got to keep rolling. I've got a lot of musicians in Nashville, and Mike's on the more production side as well as the professional musician. That's what I love about him. He sees in that spectrum, not just a conga player, or, you know what I'm saying. So yeah, it becomes a prayer for me. Tonight, I don't know how much money I'll make. I mean, I have to pay my bills with this crap.
Yeah.
People don't realize it's like, it's full time, but I just have faith that I'll make enough to get me back home. And I just want to play with these guys big time. I'm looking forward to that. It's all good.
Yeah. I like the Johnny Appleseed song, "The Lord is good to me, so I thank the Lord for giving me the things I need, the sun and the moon, the sun and the rain and the Appleseed."
Well, those are some words of my song Praises. I'm saying, the people we thank you for, we feel good in our hearts. We have everything we need. We thank you, our Father above. You've given us so much. We thank you so much. We thank you so much. Basically that's what they're saying in the language. And I wrote that with Smoky Town singers from the Menominee Reservation back in 1993. But I think if we can say things simply, that's what we're going to do tonight. I'll do all my songs, as many as I can do at this time, but I'm going to stretch it out. Because I'm at the point where I like to make it primal, sort of. I don't know how to describe that.
Yeah.
I don't want to be too...
You're inside the blessing.
Yes, go inside. There you go. You go inside the blessing. Yeah, and it's like it's a floating prayer of music. It's so beautiful. People can meditate to it. They can clap if they want. They can dance. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I don't need people clapping for me anymore. I used to think that, I think you like me, but they all love me.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, we're okay.
My dad passed away 5 years ago. I called him up and he said, "Dad, I just wrote a song called Unite My Heart." He said, "I was just reading that verse." Briefly, what's the best way for people to access your songs, including praises?
I don't know. YouTube, they're all over YouTube. iTunes, Spotify. There's another couple of Bill Millers, but
Yeah.
they're pretty weird guys, but they try to jump on my music. But you can get it anywhere. I urge them. I'm going to be on a PBS special called Underground Bluegrass. It's in a cavern in Tennessee in March, and it'll be aired sometime within this year.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm doing a lot of PBS specials that should be on television within this year.
Yeah.
I'm just keep playing live and see what happens when you play. It's like I paint too. I'm an artist, a visual artist.
Did you do the paintings that are background to
Almost all of them,
Wednesday?
yeah, all of the paintings. Yeah.
And those are available where?
Not available anywhere.
Okay.
I have never marketed myself. My management wants me to do it. We're working on a book too, but but what I'm doing tonight is a musical painting. Just go lay down and tell some stories. I just like to set a mood, like a moving picture, like a cinematic soundtrack. Yeah. I mean, I've done 2 funerals this week.
Yeah.
one for my really good friend, a Menominee Indian man. Menominee Reservation had a lot of drug problems, overdoses. So his daughter died of a heroin overdose 4 days ago. So I sang up from that, and one of my best friends just died of brain cancer and prostate cancer. So I'm singing from his funeral tomorrow for him. So I'm in that zone. Not a death zone, it's a loving zone. It's a gentle zone. I don't know where else to take it. But it's like I played with some of the biggest rockers in the world, and I don't. Eddie Vedder called me 2 years ago, and I couldn't go up and do a benefit in Montana with them, but Chili Peppers, they gave me some help. I was working with some Navajos, and they don't want this mentioned in the article, but they said they gave me $76,000 to give to the tribe. Only they needed some stables and horses for handicapped children. But I know the other sides of these rock stars, but I don't have any desire to tour them. I really don't. It's too fast of a lifestyle. It's very harsh. I can't do it.
Did you know John Bernadette? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember John.
Yeah. We were very close. He asked me to write his memoirs, and but he just was out in California, and he said, "I'm done. I went home."
Yeah, I know. I relate to that.
Yeah.
There comes a point you just gotta say, you gotta draw a line on something.
Yeah.
All I can do is just be myself, be in the spirit tonight.
Yes. Your influences.
They're all over the place. They come up. If I were to say the most influential contemporary band that I really like, they're from England, Radiohead. But I've toured with Richie Havens, Arlo Guthrie. I always liked John Prine. He died too. He's a good friend of mine. I like singer-songwriters. But they're not. I've never really. Nick Drake was one of my favorites. He's the best. I relate to him, but nothing pop. There's some great pop singers out there. I just don't relate to.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. I don't have a lot of influences.
Sure.
My early influences were rock and roll because I was playing electric guitar, then Jimi Hendrix, and Jeff Beck. I love Jeff Beck. I mean, he just died. I love Beck because he didn't give a hoot about everybody else's guitar playing. He did more melodic singing. He never sang. He'd sing with his guitar, doing this weird jazz rock, you know. And I love Jeff Beck, fearless guitar player. But I can't say nobody's really influenced me because when I make a record, I don't listen to anything. I don't listen to radio. I go out, I listen to people talking. I go to truck stops. I go in coffee shops and listen to conversations and take notes. I sit outside. I watch TV. I turn the sound off, and I write music to black and white movies or love stories. Images make me write imagery. You got to see beautiful photos of beautiful movies and actual nature, humanity. I don't know what to say influences me. My spirit's influenced by anybody with passion. Carlos Santana, I love Carlos. But not really. Not really influenced.
You're sitting outside. I remember when you sat outside Michael Martin Murphy's hotel room.
Oh yeah, that was ages ago. Yeah. And he took me on tour, and we're still best of friends.
Yeah. 3 words, your thoughts. Creation, justice, golden age. I know there are creation stories in the Hebrew tradition.
Yeah. I love creation stories. I'm in the middle of one. I'm in the middle of one. We have seasons in our life. I'm in the fall, the late fall.
Yeah.
I don't want to go in the winter yet, but I will be there. I'd say in a few years I'll be feeling the winter when I hit 70s, but even then I don't want to feel it, but I know I will be, but it'll be long. Every season has its genesis, it has its beginning, and I don't know about I know about the golden hour with the light, with the sun going down, and that's a special time, and it's like I just have learned that to keep myself emotionally healthy, you gotta get away your anger before the sun goes down. You gotta either ask for forgiveness or say I'm sorry I said that, or man, I shouldn't have whipped the bird that guy in the parking lot.
Right.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I just gotta get it out. I gotta cleanse myself.
Go ahead.
Prayer is constantly. I'm praying constantly. I'll be praying tonight while I'm singing.
Yeah.
To say things that come out of me. I let the Spirit guide me. I'm like at times now I'm more charismatic than I've ever been. During my music, I'll play stuff that will just it won't be choreographed.
Yeah.
I don't like my management likes it when I'm choreographed. When I work at the big tours, you have to go. Miller, you got 45 minutes before Pearl Jam. You got this. So you got to know your songs. Tori Amos, we did 284 days nonstop. So you had to know your set. I got my set down. It's what it is. But I don't have a set list tonight. Nothing. I don't even know where I'm starting. I sort of know where I'm starting, but I don't know where it's going to end. We'll just take it as it goes.
Sure. Justice. I'm so sorry for what white people did to Native Americans.
Yeah, well, you know, I look at it this way. It is white, but it's not white. It's humanity
Yeah.
does it to each other. We're all human beings. And whether it's in Africa, where it's even worse than what's happened over here, the way the whites treat the slaves. Africa itself is killing their own self. You know what I mean? There's still a war. Russia is against their own people.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's humanity that has that dark edge. I've come to know that, you know, I don't want to classify it as white. I want to classify it as colonial or the Wall Street precursors that were going to take over the lands and make it into money and make money on the railroads and then gear shifts and guns and everything else. That's a different culture than the one I grew up in. Even though the names are modern, there's still a strong part to recover the old ways, and that's what I'm leaning into. I prefer a simpler life. I don't know for answer this. As far as a lot of things I've earned, a lot of things I've lost in life too. But I've stopped blaming a certain race. They've done enough, but I'd say it's more an attitude than a race. It's colonial, and for some reason the European they had that in them. The Spaniards did too, but there's a lot of people they don't talk about history books that are still here, and they're the relatives that come to see me. They're not hateful, they're not racist, they're just good people. Whether it's Swedish, German, they're here, and I meet them. So it doesn't matter to me anymore. Really, there's a point when you're our age where you go, I don't want to go to bed thinking about that shit. I'm going to put my art out there and pay my rent, do my things with my art. That's what I'm doing tonight, so I feel good about it. I don't have to report to some dumbass corporation at all. They're coming to me, and they will be once this year starts. My management's getting hooked up on a book deal and stuff like that, so they'll want to be part of my life, which when it's managed correctly, I don't mind it. I can't do it. I can have a manager do that kind of stuff. I can't do it.
Yeah. There's organization NAIITS, heard of them? It's Native American, and they're having a conference coming up, I think in May, on ethnomusicology. And if I can get your contact information, send you information.
Yeah, I'll give it to Terry.
Good.
Sobrani, and he can get that.
Sure.
All right, brother.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What a pleasure.
Hey, Terry.